What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. Today, I want to take you through my entire drone workflow for real estate. Let's get into it. What's going on? My name is Cole Connor. I'm an artist and entrepreneur, and I was put here to do two things: create and inspire. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. I highly recommend, way before flying for money, to go ahead and get your FAA certification. Take the exam. I have a video right here that shows you exactly how I did it and passed in less than 2 weeks. Let's talk about pre-flight. Before even showing up to a shoot, it's always best to check on apps like Aloft to see if you're in a zone that may need pre-authorization to fly. You don't want to show up to shoot and be in a no-fly zone. That sucks. These are usually areas that are close to airports, but it happens more often than you may think. So I would go ahead and download that app, or you can always just Google and check online. The FAA has its own website that's helpful for that as well. You can avoid the awkward situation and a waste of your time if you just check beforehand. If you're anything like me, then you may get a little bit of drone anxiety before flying a drone, especially if it's a busy area. They're just so many things that can go wrong. I've seen people crash drones. I've crashed drones. Luckily, nothing or no one was ever hurt in these scenarios outside of the drone itself, but I always feel like we should be extra careful, especially when it's your business and your money involved. On top of that, people are very weird about using drones in general. I've had people hop outside their house and be like, "You're not filming my house, are you?" And then I have to be like, "No, buddy, I'm not filming your house. I was paid to shoot this house because it's about to go on the market." You have to have these conversations. So with that being said, I always try to take off from an area that is as least visible as possible from everyone in the neighborhood. I'm sure other drone operators have different outlooks because it is completely legal and there's nothing wrong with it, but I prefer not to have the hassle of people bothering me or asking me questions about it. So if the place I'm shooting has a backyard or an area that I can fly in peace, then that is where I'm taking off from. So yeah, to avoid that negative energy, I advise you not to draw a ton of attention to yourself. But if you want to take the other route, I have seen people wear FAA vests, so you could custom make it, or you could probably just order it online, and you could wear a vest so you look more legit, so people won't question you. I'm considering doing this myself to legitimize it, but also it feels like it's not really necessary. I'm sure you know how to set up your drone and actually get it lifted off in the air, but let's just assume that you don't. You're gonna wanna make sure that you register your drone with the FAA. This should be one of the first things that you do, whether you're flying commercially or not. You have to put your registration number on the drone. You know, you're flying the drone and then it drops somewhere or something, they will know whose drone it is. I use and I love this Mavic Pro 2. I've been using it for several years, and I hope that it keeps on going because it does exactly what I need to do, and I haven't had any issues yet. Fingers crossed. While on site, I plug my phone into the controller, I set up the propellers, calibrate if needed, clear the launch area, and get it up in the air. It is a very simple, self-explanatory process. I always shoot HDR bracketed 3 images, and I will adjust my exposure depending on how bright the day is. For video, this one doesn't shoot 4K 60, so I shoot 2.7K 60, but I mainly just think it's important to shoot slow motion so that you have more to pull from and it gives it that slow, cinematic, smooth look. So let's get into my actual workflow of flying the drone. My workflow for homes and buildings are very similar. I don't get too creative with it unless the homeowner or client asks me to, but usually the simple process gets everything that you need and you can be done in 15 minutes. As soon as I get the drone up in the air, I do the top-down shot. I do one as close as possible to the home while getting the entire yard, and then I do one higher up. To make things fast and as optimized as possible, I'm shooting video in between photos, assuming that the client wants video. So for example, if I'm shooting top down from a lower level, I'm then going to take the photos, then I'm going to switch to video, and then while I fly up to the next level, I'm going to keep taking video, stop, and then I'll take the photos here, if that makes sense. This is pretty much how I do all the shots I'm about to list below. Key to all these shots is to make sure the house and property are fully in every photo/video that you take, unless you're like really trying to show a view and you want to like come down into the home, particularly for video. Especially for photos though, you're going to want to try to get the view and the whole home and property in the same shot. I think for properties that you're trying to really showcase this large, huge view. I'm in Los Angeles right now, so there's always, you have like the Santa Monica area, then you have the downtown area, and so you wanna see how close the home is to downtown or the ocean, etc. Just make sure that you're keeping your main property. The full thing is on screen, like you can see the whole thing at some part in the photo, and usually the bottom center. You try to kind of keep it centered. It's obviously just a personal preference, but that may be helpful for you. So here are the shots that I make sure to get, and I'm just going to read them off for you. You got the top down, you got the low front of house. So that's just trying to show a lower version to where you could kind of see the front yard. You could almost use this as a main picture for some homes, but I do left, right, and center. I do a full circle at medium height. That's around 200 feet high. And then I do another full circle at 300 to 400 feet, depending on exactly what the view is and what's needed. And when I say full circle, that means that I'm taking 5 to 6 photos, minimum 4 corners of the property at all of these different heights. Now, I probably won't use all those photos, and at the end, we'll take a look at photos that I actually sent, but I take them just in case. I do want to talk about this one shot, and I'll put a clip up while I'm talking, where it kind of, you go from you're looking up and the drone camera is just kind of slowly going down on top of the property. It's a shot that takes a lot of practice, and you're moving multiple things at the same time. But if you can master this shot, I think it's very cinematic. And I wanted to make sure I include that because that's a shot that I think really helps to sell your drone skills. So I would really practice. It's a lot of things at once. I know you're moving forward, you're going lower, and you're moving the camera down at the same time. So practice that one, but be careful. Watch out for trees, watch out for power lines, please. And speaking of that, while you're flying, I'm going to double back on it and say, number one thing to watch out for, the number one things to watch out for, power lines and trees. Be very wary. Like I said, I've seen someone crash into a power line. I've crashed into a tree. It sucks. And it mainly happens when you're trying to be cocky, you're trying to get this really cool shot. But for real estate and when you're making money, it's just not usually worth it. Unless you're like an FPV drone pilot or something, but you're probably not if you're watching this. Another one are water towers or towers in general. I'm in Los Angeles, so there's always a ton of hills. So you might be the bottom of the hill, but then the homes, they're up on these hills. So you need to keep in mind that when you're flying around in a circle. And another thing to even watch out for are birds. Birds do get curious sometimes, or they're scared and they attack drones, so be careful. I'm hoping in the future that I can get an FPV drone that I can be a little more risky with, have a little more fun for those really cool, fast cinematic shots. But for now, I'm sticking with the Mavic 2 Pro and I'm keeping it safe. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the deliverables that I sent to a client recently to give you a real life example. We're gonna hop onto the computer. We're gonna hop onto the computer and let's do it. Okay, so this one property particularly, she wanted a drone add-on and she had a highlight video that I created for her. I only ended up sending her 10 images because for this property, I didn't really feel like she needed more. So here we go. This is one of those front shots I was mentioning where it's kind of really low to the ground. I could have gone lower, but as you can see, there are trees and there's these trees blocking the property. So I didn't really feel like it was worth it to go much lower. I just wanted to show there's this highway here. See this car moving with the HDR. Yeah, and then you can see the pool in the background, etc. Then we got a back shot similar. It looks like I went up a little bit higher. But yeah, I really liked this one. It shows a little bit of the neighbors here and then the backyard, which is obviously very green, lots of plants where it's kind of hidden. Then we got a top down shot here. Just that's the closer up one where you can see the pool, etc. Then we got these large shots showing the views. I didn't really feel like it was necessary to go up much higher here because you couldn't see anything over these mountains. You could just see the views and see the mountains. So these ones, this is the circle I'm talking about. And like I said, I took more than this, but this is all that I sent. Boom. Another top-down shot that shows the actual whole driveway and house together. And then I took a couple really low, like this. Sometimes I do this if I think it's going to be a cool shot. I thought this one was kind of neat. Who knows if she actually used it, but I just liked it, so I sent it. And I think that's it. Nope, I did one more. Same with this. I really liked the tree, and I wanted to be able to see more inside the backyard, so we took that one too. That's it. Okay. Boom. So that was the 10 that I sent her. So it's very simple. It doesn't take a long time to edit those, etc. Just about finding the best ones. And usually when someone adds on aerials, I'm like, yo, it's going to be like between 8 and 12, depending. And that's all they need. And then also we're going to take a look at this video. And this is just going to show you where I put drone video and how I'm editing it with my footage. And it pretty much is in the beginning that I put it and the end. So we'll take a look at this video. So drone in the beginning, little title screen. You see it's in the center here. It's a reveal shot. Top down shot. This is that shot I'm talking about where you're going forward, you're kind of lowering, and you're going, bringing the camera down too. Same here. So that's that. And then we're going to go all the way. I don't usually put it in the middle, but I put it again at the end. You can see I included one shot here because I thought that was a different view that looks pretty cool. And then at the end to kind of wrap up the video. Just like that, 1.5 minutes. So I'm always, no matter what style of video you make, whether it's a 5-minute full video or you like to do really quick 30 seconds, I think it's just a good setup shot to have a drone shot wide showing the views, and then you kind of get closer, go in, and then once they've got the vibe of the whole home, you end it with another shot of the scenery and the setting. Yeah, I've found that works really well. So that's that. You got this. It will take some time to get it down pat, but trust me, you will get there. If you're growing a real estate photo biz from the beginning and you're just learning all this from scratch, it may really benefit you to check out my course in the link below. It is for free on Skillshare because you get Skillshare for 3 months for free, so I highly recommend checking that out. I also just dropped some other videos on editing exteriors and editing interiors with some free presets, so you can check that out too. Like I said, my name is Cole. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope this helps. Please like, comment, subscribe if you got some value out of this. I'll catch y'all next time.
Every day I wake up with a vision, cooking in the kitchen, ain't no fucking in a mission, like yo. Shaking up your city with my bitchin', sold in the building, and the motherfucker fizzing like whoa. Cold won't stop till they get that gold.